Is it too soon for a catch? I feel like you have to earn a catchphrase.
Yeah.
You can't be like, hey, it's me, Jimmy Dean, and like people be like, who the fuck is talking to me right now?
Yeah, like of Jimmy Dean sausages.
Yeah, I guess that would be legally in a dicey area if that was my nickname.
Watching movies is fun, but why only watch one when you could watch two and hear us talk them through? We'll pick a pair of flicks on similar topics, then we'll tell you our analyses. Let's watch two movies.
Okay, I'm just gonna introduce it.
Okay.
So I'm Maddie, and
I'm Mary Ellen.
and
Hey.
this is the very first episode of Let's Watch Two Movies, which is honestly the name of our podcast.
It is. It's the actual name. We had a long discussion about some potential titles, and it turns out it's really hard to name a podcast.
It's also really hard to come up with a name that hasn't already been taken by another podcast.
Most people have podcasts now.
What's really shocking is that no one has ever named their podcast Let's Watch Two Movies.
Because it's such a good
Yeah,
name for a
yeah.
podcast.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Is that it was like a huge relief, I think, for both of us when we
that was our number one
Googled it.
pick.
And, yeah. We had a lot of other ideas, but we were like,
This one was the best.
fingers crossed.
It wasn't just because literally no one else has taken this. It's because it's a really good title.
It's because we liked it the best.
Let's watch two movies.
Let's.
So, as you can maybe guess by the title, this is a podcast where Maddie and we watch a movie.
We play two games, actually.
Totally throwing you off. No, we actually do. We watch one movie.
Interesting.
And then once we're done with that, we pick another movie
That
to watch.
relates to.
Yeah.
This is the clincher. Second movie
Yes.
relates directly to the first movie.
There's
got
gotta be some
There's got to
kinda-
be a through line there.
There's got to be some kind of thematic linkage or some kind of thing we see. Oh, this other movie tried a thing that this movie did. Let's talk about it.
Yep. And we're not going to do like new movie, old movie. I mean, we wanted to do that originally. We might
Yeah.
do that sometimes. But it was too difficult because, new movies are bad. No, I'm just kidding. They're fine.
Nope. I think all the good movies have been made. I think we're done now.
They
As a
have.
people.
And luckily there's a lot of movies I haven't seen. So,
Yeah. No, I consider myself someone who watches a lot of movies. I still haven't seen a lot of them.
maybe we should talk about our credentials, which are nothing because neither of us have seen any
Mine are
movies.
especially nothing. You at least have some.
Okay, well, I can say I do media criticism for a living, and right now I work for the Mary Sue as an editor, and I do write about movies from time to time and TV.
So,
but I
those are
primarily
things.
have covered video games for most of my
But you know,
criticism career.
Maddie, a video game is much like a movie.
Is it?
No. I think there are video games that are movie-esque.
There are, and I think games have a sort of inferiority complex with movies, which
yeah.
we can talk about if we ever do like
Oh,
a video
do
game
you
movie.
wanna talk
for
about
sure.
that?
We can.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
funny. I mean, making fun of that. Making fun of people's inferiority complexes, that's kind of my thing.
Yeah, I feel that. I mean, I think a lot of this podcast is going to be us making fun of things. I hope it makes people angry.
But on the other hand, I think we both genuinely enjoy watching movies a lot. I
yeah.
mean, that's really why we want to do it.
There's a lot of movies out there I love. I love movies from all different genres, and
I think you've seen more movies than I do, and I think you know more about movies than I do.
yeah, I make sure I've seen more movies. I
Than I
keep
have.
tabs on how many movies you've seen, and I got to be at least 10 out
Yeah.
from there
It's
at all
easy
times.
to do, honestly.
It is. You're very slow at getting through movies.
I don't know that that's true. I don't really have a life, so that's another great reason to do this.
Do you watch more TV or movies?
I watch a lot of TV.
I find it easier to keep up with new movies. So I usually have an ongoing list of movies I want to see, and it's like you commit to an hour and a half to 2 hours. You know?
I'm
Versus
more
like a
likely
show.
to check out an old movie on Netflix and just like stuff I've never seen before,
Yeah.
or what have you.
That's fair.
So before we get to the movie of the week, do we
Should I talk about my lack
a little
of
bit about
qualifications?
Oh, I don't know. if you
Yeah,
want.
I just really like movies.
Yeah,
That's
but
it.
I mean, I thought we were gonna share like what movies we like.
Oh, well, you went into I mean, you're like, I write for Mary Sue, and I don't write for anyone. If you're hiring, don't look at me.
I feel like we just derailed the show for you to like have a little moment.
All right.
Listen, I think you're very qualified. I like talking to you. That's why we're doing this show.
And I like talking about movies. I like sharing my opinions about movies with people.
That's more than enough qualifications for me.
I think so.
I don't think we need to defend ourselves to the two people
Do you think
who
I'm
might
starting
listen.
out defensive?
A little bit. You're like, listen, who am I?
Guys, look, I just turned 27. It's a tumultuous time in my life, but I think this podcast will help me work through some of that.
Yeah, that's actually the real reason we're
This is mostly therapeutic
It's been
for
a really
us.
shitty summer, and we just want to watch
Yeah,
movies.
I mean, that's real, you guys.
talk? Yeah, like that was too real.
Movies are great.
Cool.
Let's watch 2 movies.
What the fuck are we doing? Are we going on too long? We were going to talk about our favorite movies. Do we still want to do that?
Yeah, I do want to do that.
Okay, cool. Go.
Do I start?
I don't know.
Well, most people that know me know my absolute favorite movie right now is, of course, Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah.
I like that movie to an extent where it's like, I'm sure some of the people involved in the production have
Your name on a list of like, this is a concern.
Right. And I just want, on the record, I don't intend any harm to any of them.
Oh my God. It's like instantly going to a weird place.
Guys, I'm joking, but I really like Mad Max Fury Road. It's a great movie, and I could probably talk about it for a very long time.
So that's like the bar for you. I mean,
Yeah,
I've talked to
right
you many
now.
times about it, and you've kind of been like, that's my bar for what makes a great movie. Like, it has everything you enjoy.
But I don't like. I wouldn't say all movies need to be exactly like Fury.
No.
Like some of my other favorite movies, especially ones that I've seen recently. I loved Swiss Army Man, which I saw this summer. That is probably up in my top 5 right now.
Yeah.
Children of Men is one of my favorites. I
like that movie a lot. Yeah.
I kind of run the gamut. Like I like, big noisy action stuff, but I also like weird indie stuff. I also like man falls in love with woman stuff exclusively.
like
only men and women
stuff, or
Yeah, that's what I mean.
yeah, you're very homophobic. I'm going to bring that up. It's going to come up on this show.
It'll
given
come up.
the movie that we're talking about.
Oh
Phew.
my God.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, I just realized like why we're here and like got very upset.
just felt
so
the-
I try to like keep my own like what movies I'm checking out, kind of diverse, like whatever looks, and like of course I'll watch all like the big blockbuster stuff.
yeah.
Marvel.
Your Marvel movies.
Yeah,
Which I've seen all of those.
And I don't like them like these are perfect example.
No.
I think they're silly
But
often, but
I think they're fun. I mean,
Yeah.
like I would, in terms of movies that I've seen recently, like
Mm-hmm.
obviously I've seen a lot of Marvel movies. It's my job to go to those. I wouldn't necessarily put them in my best of category. I really like Ex Machina. That's a sort of recent movie that I'm a big fan of. It's really slow. It's really
But creepy.
thinky and creepy. There's very few characters in it. I can get into stuff like that. I like a movie about sci-fi psychological thriller. You're not as into psychological thrillers, actually.
it depends. We were discussing the new trailer that came out recently for Get Out.
Yes.
And it just really
I was
that's
like so into it.
it-
You were like, I don't know if I can.
anytime you get
handle
into
it.
like hypnosis and like brain surgery.
Ooh. Did
which-
you not like the Stepford Wives at all?
Well, I haven't seen it.
Okay, yeah.
But even like the idea of that really, I don't like people altering people's brains. I know that makes me weird. I know most people are
I
like
don't
really
think so.
chill.
I mean, it's supposed to be creepy, right? Okay.
I was making a joke.
Oh, okay.
But like my brain, like I like horror movies. My brain of horror movies is more like
Slasher stuff.
yeah, and not because I'm incredible. I'm not like violence.
Yeah, no,
It's-
I am.
Yeah, I mean, we all know.
Yeah.
We've heard of that part of you. But I like when you have this like physical representation of kind of intangible anxiety, if that makes sense. Like
I get it. I'm honestly like
it's
really,
almost therapeutic in that way when the thing that you're frightened of is a dude in a mask outside your window
and
instead
it's like
of like
very literalized.
yeah. And so like the whole like final girl element and like the outsmarting this thing that's trying to get you, like that's a very cathartic experience for me, and that's what I like about slasher movies.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's sort of interesting that that's what we're talking about today, because the movie that we chose is
Neon
sort of a
Demon.
combination of things that you and I would, in theory, like.
Yeah, you would
Because
think, huh?
It's got some sort of slasher elements. to
Slasher,
it.
it's got some psychological horror.
Yeah, and it's also got some really cool parts for women in it that you
Yeah.
would think would potentially be something that would resonate with us.
Right. Ostensibly, it's supposed to be like centered on the experiences and like anxieties of women.
Yeah, in the fashion industry specifically. It's called,
Sure.
we glossed over it very quickly. It's The Neon Demon. I guess it's
Is
the
it
title
The
of
Neon
this
Demon or
podcast.
just-
Yeah.
The Neon Demon. Got it.
Yeah, it's not just any neon demon.
Oh, it's the Neon Demon.
As for what that title means, couldn't tell you.
No, all the posters are like, I showed you the lips poster, right?
Yep, there's a poster of lips that's sort of like
It's
a
meant
vagina.
to evoke a
It's
vagina.
vaginal.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if the Neon Demon is like women. I
Yep.
don't know.
It turns out
Maybe
women are
Fame.
bad.
I don't. Fame.
I said we weren't going to spoil the movie. Oh, so I
the
guess,
movie. Yeah, the end of the movie is just like women are bad. I guess that's how it ends.
Yeah.
Wow.
So if that's not something you're into, you're not going to enjoy this movie. But yeah, so to just sort of kick off, we're going to kick off like a little brief review segment of the movie that will hopefully be spoiler free, and then we'll do spoilers after that.
Should we give
But we'll
some
warn you.
background for
But yeah, let's start with some background about who directed it, which is
Nicholas Winding
Refn,
Refn? We found a YouTube video of a like robot lady.
telling us how to pronounce his name. So
Yes.
if that's wrong, blame her.
Blame her, not us.
Blame
man.
women. You know.
Women are bad, as we learned.
I don't.
So this dude, Nicholas
He
Winding Refn,
directed Drive,
yes,
which
so-
is his big claim to fame. For
that
most
was he
people.
busted onto the scene. He had a few smaller movies before that, but his big like breakout was Drive. I've seen it. Maddie
I
hasn't.
have not seen it. Still,
I liked Drive. I thought it was okay. I thought it was a little silly at parts, and definitely like way longer than it needed to be. But you know that movie did really well. A lot of people really liked it, especially
yeah.
dudes. Dudes were into it.
yeah, dudes love that movie.
I thought Ryan Gosling was really good in it. But you know, it had kind of like early suggestions of this dude's style.
Yeah, which
Whereas,
isn't a
like,
bad style. I mean,
No, but it's very stylized. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's
I mean, we can get to it in a minute, but I think the thing about Neon Demon that we both actually liked was the look of it.
yeah, I think aesthetically he does really interesting stuff. I think visually he's got a lot of talent. He can make things like he has an interesting approach to wanting to show scenes of violence and like aggression and things that are normally like horrifying and trying to make that look beautiful.
Yeah, which is a compelling problem to
Yeah.
solve, and
I
I
don't
think
think-
he does a good job of making movies look beautiful.
and I don't think that's necessarily a negative thing to try, but this dude, I mean, he's kind of a character.
Yeah. So let's talk about. Okay, so the Neon Demon is very different from Drive in that it's about the fashion industry and
Yes.
it's got a lot of women characters in it, and it's about one woman in particular. Well, girl.
Yeah, she's
Elle
a child,
Fanning,
really. Yeah,
Who was apparently 16 when they started filming this.
Yeah.
I thought she was 17, but she's 16, and her character in the movie is 16.
Mm-hmm.
And so for the interviews for this movie.
Yeah. I was like, I just remember, like, before I even saw Neon Demon, I saw these interviews were kind of getting passed around because, like, oh my God, this guy's being really douchey. Look at this. Because in between Drive and this movie, he made a movie called Only God Forgives, and it was pretty much universally panned.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the same time, his wife filmed a documentary of him
Making Only God
God
Forgives? Yeah.
Forgives. And that one was like kind of, I don't think it did super well. People were like, all right. I think that was the
Guess
critical
we can
response.
get on board with whatever you two are doing.
So he's already created this weird meta narrative about his own like journey as a director. And so and you read some of these interviews and like
risky stuff.
the shit he says about himself, he's like, I'm an artist, like, you know, I go where people don't dare to go.
Like, that's honestly not an exaggeration.
Yeah.
Like, the quotes from this interview were him being
Insane.
like, I am glamour. I am edgy.
Yeah.
Like, it was like literally,
Yeah.
I should like
But
look it up and
he
quote it.
stated that his intent with this movie was to whereas he considered Drive sort of a fetishizing of the masculine.
Yeah.
This would be an examination of largely women.
Do you think he's qualified to do that?
No. No, I don't, Maddie.
Interesting. Well, he thinks he is
Yeah,
because
yeah.
in these interviews he said stuff like, "Oh, I finally got to live inside the mind of a 16-year-old girl," which is something.
Well, so he claims, like, in one interview, he's like, I wanted to make something that was very women-centric and about women's experiences and that sort of thing. But then in other interviews, he's like, for me, this is about living out the fetish of being able to feel like a beautiful woman.
Right,
And
which
to feel beauty.
could theoretically be interesting.
Yeah, but
in
you can't do both
practice-
those things at once. And I feel like that's what he's like. It's very much a male movie, and that it's telling the story
Yeah,
of a
like,
male's perspective of female beauty.
I also just like, unfortunately, I think that if that's what he's trying to do, he I think
failed.
the movie fails.
Yeah.
Because I didn't at any point feel as though the camera or the filmmaker perspective was inside of Elle Fanning's character. You know
Should
what I mean?
we-
Like,
yeah.
like the movie's very much looking at her.
Oh yeah.
And
it starts with like
I actually felt like you sort of have some trouble relating to her because she's very much a
Yes.
cipher, which I thought was intentional. But then when I read these interviews after the fact where I was like, wait, he felt like he was embodying her character, but she's nothing.
you don't know what she's thinking or feeling, or like you can get some kind of hint in the way she's interacting with
Which
other
again
people.
I thought was intentional and I
Me
thought was an
too.
interesting choice.
Yeah,
But then I
apparently
was like,
was not a choice.
Wait, you thought that she was an embodiment of you?
Yeah.
Then you really don't. You are nothing then, because she's
Yeah,
essentially
you
just
are
this
nothing.
doll. I mean, she doesn't. But again, that's not necessarily bad. It's
No,
just
I
kind
thought
of
that was
sad
interesting.
to hear that was his intention, and then have it be like, but the character that you think you are is not a character, really.
Right. She's a reflection of all these other characters'
Yeah,
intentions.
she's sort of like a mirror in a sense.
Should we kind of jump into like a basic over?
Yeah. But still not to the spoilery
Yeah,
section?
we're not at the spoiler section yet. I have to be
Okay.
careful. I spoil movies so easily. I
I'll cut
personally,
it out because I have to edit this.
That's true. Personally, I spoil myself a lot for movies.
Yeah, and actually, that's interesting because you went into this movie spoiled on pretty much every major plot point.
Yes. Yeah.
Like all the significant shit that happens
'Cause
in the
for
second
me-
half of the movie, you knew about.
Yeah, and as soon as these interviews started coming out, I'm like, I gotta fucking know what's
yeah,
up.
I guess luckily didn't know most of those plot points ahead of time, which made it kind of enjoyable for me to sort of experience the wackiness of this movie.
Yeah.
Because I did know one thing, which is a spoiler, but I was kind of glad to know it ahead of time just because personally it really bothered me, which is that there's a lesbian character in this movie who ends up being predatory.
Yes.
And like that is a spoiler, but it's one that I would have wanted to know, and you did tell me ahead of time. That was like
Yeah.
the only spoiler that I knew ahead of time.
Yeah. I'm glad that you felt that was like a good spoiler.
Just because it would have made me even more angry.
Yeah. Sure. Well, and there's
You know what I mean? Like I was already mad, and then I like the scene where that turn happens. Like at least knowing about it ahead of time. I don't know. So anyway,
and there's-
it
I would
revolves
say-
around this 16-year-old girl.
Yes.
And there's a lot of people in her life.
She
who
comes
are
to LA.
preying
Is it
upon
LA?
her. She comes to LA. She enters the fashion industry.
Yes.
I think it's LA. There's a lot of like Hollywood Boulevard.
It's
looking
California.
Shots. Yeah, it's sort
Yeah.
of miscellaneous Californian
Yeah.
area. And so she wants to become a fashion model. So
we
here's
all
what we
do.
know about her. And I was waiting for the movie to tell us that any of this stuff was false, but actually no. It turns out it's all correct as far
Yeah,
as I know.
I was waiting for some kind of
Her
turnaround of that too.
backstory, which is bizarre,
Her
is
parents are
apparently
dead.
completely true. Which is that she's 16 years old. Her parents died at some point that we don't know.
Yeah.
She ran away from home.
Didn't finish high school.
Didn't finish high school. She has no source of income that we know of.
No.
I don't
and
know
no
how
family.
she could afford to move to LA in the first place. That's not
true.
specified. We
Yeah.
don't know really anything about her past or how she got money before now.
Yeah.
And she, by her own admission, has no life skills or experience.
Yeah.
And the only thing she has to offer is that she's very conventionally attractive. And she
Yes.
knows that.
Yeah.
And so she's like, I'm just going to become a fashion model because that's literally my only option.
Yeah.
That's how the movie starts and ends, I guess. I mean,
I
that's,
mean,
that's her
yeah.
trajectory.
Yes.
And so she meets all of these characters in the fashion industry.
Yes.
And all of them prey upon her in different ways.
Yeah, they either see her as a threat if they're, other more established models, or they see her as, a potential toy
Yep.
if they are men within the industry or men just trying to pursue her sexually.
Yep.
I would say even, like, there's a potential boyfriend character.
Yeah, who's all older than her.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. Because he, like, when
He's
she
in
says...
his sort of early 20s.
When she says she's 16, he, like, makes a joke about, like, leaving
Oh,
and
I
needing
better
to go
get
home.
outta here.
And then he's like, JK!
And then he tries to kiss her anyway. This is
Yeah.
early in the movie, so not a big spoiler.
But his character doesn't really get
Yeah,
developed.
I actually thought that
I thought he
was
was gonna-
supposed to be the audience stand-in after I finished
Oh,
watching
I
the
thought
movie.
he was going to get rapey.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen. That's a spoiler, I guess. But, I actually think that he's the character you're supposed to kind of relate to.
I disagree. Because after reading all these interviews...
Well, according to the interviews, we're supposed to relate to Elle Fanning's character.
Yeah, because all of Wingding, Nicholas Wingding
Yeah.
Road,
Saint Nick, yeah.
St. Nicholas Wingdings, all of his stuff was like, actually, vanity and narcissism are great.
Yeah.
Like that's supposed to be kind of the point of the movie, which seems insane given the way things unravel.
Yeah. It's strange because the
So
movie seems like a condemnation of narcissism and the fashion industry, but I guess it's also
a celebration. And I think
I didn't mind the celebratory stuff.
No, because I think that was visually really interesting.
Yeah. So anyway, there's a lot of rape in this movie, so just like bear that in mind if you want to watch it.
and it's
like
not
like depictions of sexual assault that are pretty bad.
It's not dealt with in a way that's thoughtful or
so bear that in mind
careful.
too.
Yeah,
I guess.
If you're a woman going into this, or if you're anybody with experience with this kind of stuff, like heads up.
Just know
it's not delicate at all.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's not. And there are some parts of the movie that are visually compelling and it looks really beautiful. I actually thought the soundtrack was really great.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely there's
things about it that I'd recommend. So we're closing in on the spoilery part. So I wanted to like try to say whether or not I'd recommend it.
We can do like just a bit. Overall, there's some of the more like that music video-y like artistic
I liked
scenes.
the parts of the movie that were just a montage that was like a music video,
which is interesting because
like the runway section,
and his background is in like perfume commercials and stuff like that. So it's like almost like stay in your lane, dude, because you're doing all right with that.
Yeah.
But I will say some of those did go on like a little too long for me. And then there was some like I felt like there was an interesting idea at some like what you talked about, the scene in the beginning with kind of the models feeling this new model out.
Oh yeah, so there's a scene really early on. This isn't too spoilery either.
Yeah.
Where like Elle Fanning, her character's name is Jessie, so I guess I can just refer to her that way.
Yeah.
So Jessie starts meeting these other new models. She's at a really hot party in LA.
We've all been there.
Yeah. God. And she meets these other 3 models. Well, one of them is a makeup artist. Yeah. And they have this really awkward conversation in the bathroom that I really liked, where they talk about like lipstick that they're using.
But there's a lot of like passive aggression and like insults.
There's a lot of passive aggression, but it's also like kind of like gay.
Yeah, there's
in a
flirtation.
way that I didn't mind.
Yeah.
Where I was like, the parts of this movie that make it seem like modeling is like a weird lesbian blood cult are the parts that I can get into.
If they went in deep into that, I probably would have liked this movie.
Where I'm like, okay, so models are like moon worshipping blood witches, and they're also all having sex with each other. Like,
all right,
okay,
yeah,
I'm on board for
sounds
that.
good.
Like that's kind of the horror element of this. Yeah. But then the movie
really
goes too far into being like, that's bad, and I'm like, is it? Like, what are you saying?
Why are you trying to condemn our lesbian blood cults? You know?
Like what's wrong with that,
2016.
Man? Yeah. So like,
I really liked in that scene. There's like a little bit of passive aggression, like stuff going on, and then Gigi, the model, who I thought was great in this movie. She's basically supposed to be like a bitchy, paranoid model who like doesn't want to get dethroned. She does a fantastic job. But there's so like Jessie gets in like a little dig at her, and she just goes, "I heard your parents are dead." And I'm like, that is amazing.
I know.
I was like,
incredible.
damn. So there's like moments in this movie where I'm like, that's awesome. Like I like that.
I liked
because it's almost like a campy impression of like inter-female like tension.
But
you know,
it's like not quite campy. It's like
because it's too it's too self-serious to be campy.
I know,
and it buys into its own narrative too much.
Full camp. I don't know if it would be a better movie per se. I usually love campy stuff.
Yeah.
But I actually liked the level of seriousness that the movie was at, and I even liked the look of it.
Yeah.
My main problems were story problems.
I mean, the story sucks.
Yeah. It's just shitty.
I saw a review that said it kind of evoked a lot of the same aesthetic themes as drag, basically, because it's looking at like femininity and performance of like femme beauty, and then mixing that in with like kind of this like poking fun at it and like mixing with the violence of it a little bit.
Sometimes, like obviously there are drag performers who are misogynistic, but there are plenty of drag performers who aren't. And like there is that tension there within that subculture for sure.
Yeah. Like
many smarter people than I have written about that and like that struggle. I don't think Refn really knows enough about
well, that's the thing. I think
women or gender performance to make this movie. And I think his lack of depth shows.
And the things that I like about this movie I feel like are all unintentional on his
Yeah.
part. Like I feel like there's so many.
And we should mention that some women worked on this movie.
Yeah, the cinematographer was a woman. The two people he co-wrote
Co-writers.
with were women.
And I think I don't want to just say like men are bad.
I do.
Mary Ellen does.
I'll go on the record.
I, for some reason, don't. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
this is a
I don't
weird-
know why I'm backing off this.
Yeah, this
'cause
is a weird
it's
night
like
for you.
a fact.
Yeah.
But whatever. I don't
Yeah.
know. I guess I just don't want to say it today. But I just feel like they might have been responsible for some of the stronger parts of the movie, like
Yeah.
the interactions between women that did feel real to me.
Right.
Or like the scene in the diner that I think you and I both really liked, where like, is your name Bean or?
Oh God, I love that. Oh
like,
my
there's
God.
some really funny
Your name's
dialogue.
Bean.
There's some fun moments in this movie. Like
Yeah.
it's not all bad. It's just that the larger structural issues with the story and like the way that this movie
Yeah.
treats its lesbian characters and just homosexuality in
And
general is
honestly,
really
its
fucking
portrayal
weird.
of men is really disgusting.
It's pretty bad
If I
across
were a
the
straight
board.
dude watching this movie, I'd be like, God damn, like this is offensive to me
Yeah.
as like a dude.
It's tough.
Because no dude really escapes unscathed. Like they all suck.
They're
Even
all real bad.
Yeah.
Except that boyfriend guy. He
Yeah.
comes out okay.
yeah, he's all right.
I guess. He still
Bean.
tries to kiss his 16-year-old though.
Yeah, and like my perception of him was like, regardless of his approach, he's trying to go for the same thing as all these other lecherous dudes.
Well, I mean, like, I guess we can go over this more in the spoilerific thing,
Yeah.
but I wasn't totally sure if that was what we were supposed to take away from it.
Yeah, I don't really know what Bean's whole purpose was.
Yeah, Bean.
Bean. So I would say overall, I would recommend this movie if you just want to see something that's kind of an interesting mess.
Yeah.
I think you can find some like potential in it overall if you're looking for like a tight narrative and a satisfying conclusion, or something that you feel like treats things like sexual assault and like women's interactions with self-image with any kind of depth or understanding. This is not that movie.
Yeah.
Don't
it's
seek that out in this
super not.
movie.
I feel like there's so many problems with this movie that I don't know that I would recommend it. I
wouldn't recommend it straight up. Like definitely just check
not.
this out.
Like
yeah.
there's like a million caveats, and I feel like the only reason to watch it is because you're like, this is gonna be a train wreck, which a lot of the reviews of the movie have said. It's
Yes.
not like this was a movie that was well received.
No, most of the
We are
reviews.
the billionth people to shit on it.
Yes, we are not doing anything new.
No,
we are
no,
not
we're
bringing
not.
anything to the table.
Well, I mean,
We're trying.
guys,
It's
we're
our
trying so
first
hard.
episode.
This is our pilot. We're
Let's watch 2 movies.
name of our fucking show.
Did you forget that was the
No,
title
I
we
didn't.
chose?
All right. So Mary Ellen recommends it with a ton of caveats.
Yeah.
I'm actually not going to recommend it.
That's probably-
I feel like
yeah.
even with caveats, I don't know.
Well, I would recommend it only if you are
I
going into it a
enjoyed
certain way.
parts of it, but I feel like the problems with it were so overbearing that if I were someone who wasn't interested in doing something like this where you just analyze the movie, just read some articles about it and you'll get the gist. You
Yeah,
know
or
what I
the
mean? Listen to
Wikipedia
this fucking
summary.
podcast.
Listen to the fucking podcast. You get the
Listen
gist.
to our podcast. You're
Who is
already
that?
doing it.
It's my, like, I don't know.
He's like a baby gangster.
I'm a baby gangster.
I'm a baby gangster.
It's good. That's a good. You definitely want to hone that character for future episodes.
I don't know what the fuck I'm
All right, so
doing.
now starts the spoilery
Yeah.
thing, guys.
I'll put in some musical breaks or something for this so that people...
Spoilers.
Spoilers. Spoilers.
That's good. I really like that.
Can a movie really be spoiled? Does knowing the plot really ruin a movie? It's sort of a philosophical question. We can't answer that for you. Just figure out what you want to do. But if you don't want to know the plot, turn this off right now.
Guys, they all eat each other at the end.
Guys!
Guys,
Listen up, guys!
look.
Models literally eat one
Consume
another.
Jesse.
Literally.
They we shouldn't say they eat each other. They eat one of them.
But it's implied that they've done this before.
Is it?
I feel like, yeah. I mean, should we like take the clock
Oh yeah,
back to the
well,
beginning of the movie?
yeah. So where did we leave them off plot wise? So she's like trying to make it in the big city.
Yeah. So Jessie arrives in the big city. How did she get that great apartment? Oh well, no, it was a shitty motel room, but it was still really
she was staying in a
beautiful.
shitty motel room with Keanu Reeves, the rapist.
Yeah. Okay. So
Who could have guessed?
Keanu
Neo.
Reeves owns a hotel.
Yeah.
And is a rapist, I guess.
Yeah, he's like has this motel specifically for like runaway women.
Yeah.
And then at one point he's talking to like the kindly bean boyfriend.
Yeah, so
and he's
Bean
like,
boyfriend-
I got a real Lolita type in room
And
number
room
blah
two,
blah.
whatever. Yeah, he's like, I got a lot of underage runaways hanging out
It's
at my
this-
motel if you want to go
It's like
rape 'em.
beyond caricature. This
It's
is the
so
part where I was
bizarre.
like a straight dude. I'd be like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
this is not reality.
Yeah, I mean, Keanu Reeves is like really selling it. I
Yeah.
will say that all the actors in this movie are like doing their damnedest.
I think they
to
did a great
play rapists and just
The photographer gave me the heebie-jeebies.
stereotypical, like, quote unquote, bitchy model types.
Yeah. Oh, I thought the models were so good.
They
the
were great.
Dag.
Everybody was like doing a great job at the thing they were supposed to do.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
Abby Lee from Fury Road, obviously, who plays the Dag in Fury Road. She's an actual like Australian supermodel.
Yeah.
She's done Victoria's Secret shows, she's done catalogs, et cetera, et cetera. And she plays one of the models in this movie. And I think she does an amazing job.
Yeah.
I think the woman who plays Gigi is really great too.
Yeah, she's also like a model in
So
real life.
I would say the beginning half of the movie like benefits so much.
No,
from
she's
this-
not a model. She's an actress. She only does acting.
Right.
Listen, all these IMDb summaries are running together.
Mixed together. So I would say the beginning half of the movie benefits so much from this acting because it creates this like sense of tension that's nice and subtle and slow brewing.
And he
like
just
fucks
want
it
to
to
care
hell.
about this movie because
Yeah.
everybody's doing such a good job. And
Yeah.
like it's kind of like Elle Fanning. I don't think it's her first movie, but it's like
No,
a big
it's
deal
definitely
for
not.
her
She was
to be
in
doing
Super
all
8.
this stuff.
She was in
Yeah,
all
I mean
these
she's
things.
gonna be successful because
I'm
like
sure.
nepotism and stuff. But like, she's like doing her damnedest with a tricky role that has like nothing to go on.
So she's staying in a motel with creepy Keanu Reeves.
Yeah,
There's a
she's-
mountain lion in her room
But
at
the
one
movie
point.
starts out with Elle Fanning doing a photo spread with her throat slit and her boyfriend.
Yes, I feel like we should talk about that.
Yeah. So the
That's
very
the opening
first
shot of the movie.
First shot of the movie is Elle Fanning with her throat slit, blood everywhere. I knew from the jump that this was going to be fake. Did
Yes.
you know that?
I was like, this is probably gonna be fake.
Yeah, I was like, this is a
But
photo
I'm also
shoot.
like, it's fake, but it's also supposed to be like, this is
Is
where you're.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just so stupid. Like, because her
and
eyes.
it's kind of like a starting the movie at the end sort of a thing.
Yes.
Because it's obviously foreshadowing the fact that Elle's gonna fucking die.
There's so much foreshadowing in this fucking movie.
I know, it's
I was.
redonk.
Did you the scene where they're all talking about lipstick names, and she's like, mine's Red Rum. I'm like, fuck off. Like, really?
I'm in a horror movie.
I'm like Nicholas, stop it. Like, we're already watching it. Like, sit down.
Yeah.
Ugh,
Anyway,
Nicholas.
but like the first scene is her covered in blood.
Yeah, and and the boy who always
Who she met on the internet.
Yeah,
Just
is-
a literal random
is, like-
photographer who she met on the internet
He's
who
giving-
turns out to not be a creep, luckily.
Yeah, he's giving her like cubic eyes, like he's like looking down like this.
Yeah, he's like framed as being the creepy one, but
and
then
he's
I guess the
taking
twist
pictures
is
of
that
her.
he's not.
The twist is, yeah, I don't fucking
Twist ending, he's fucking fine.
Yeah, so that's what we start with, literally like male gaze
Yeah,
bullshit
yeah.
with a dead
We're
beautiful
slow panning
woman
in on
covered
her
in glitter and blood.
From the photographer's perspective.
Right, and
like,
so-
if that's not literally the male gaze,
Yeah.
what
He's
is?
like, no, this is about women though.
It's literally not from her perspective. And like then the next scene is her washing off the blood while looking at herself in the mirror. There's
Yes.
so many women looking at themselves in the mirror
Yes.
shots in this movie, which is fine. I mean, this is a movie about, models and,
Yeah.
and looking and gaze, but it's like, why not just say that's what the fucking movie is?
It's like too much. It's just so like the first time you see the symbol, you'll see that symbol like 50 more times.
I know,
Emphasized
I know,
throughout the movie,
I know.
and then that's when she meets the makeup artist.
Yes.
they go to the party. They meet
Who
the
is
models.
a lesbian? Not that we know that.
We don't know that,
way
but we
later.
know
We don't know that. We
in
just
this-
think she's a cool friend,
Right.
Who's being supportive.
Because in this world of like these predatory male photographers who tell her to take her clothes off right away and like look
Yeah,
at her
yeah,
really
yeah,
creepily
yeah.
and stuff like that,
We got to get to that
She's-
fucking scene in a minute.
she's the one who's like,
She's-
here's my number.
Yeah.
I don't think you should be alone with this
Her
dude.
name's Ruby.
Oh yeah, Ruby.
And she's played by Jenna Maloney,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
Who looks totally different in this. She's got like a cute haircut and stuff.
Just yeah.
She looks good. She's a good looking lesbian in this. But she's a sexual predator.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
not yet. So the movie starts out. This is what really bothered me is that like it establishes this intense female friendship of support and trust, and like Jenna Maloney's character trying to save Elle Fanning from sexual predators.
Yeah.
And then undoes all that.
JK, she's
by
also a
being
sexual
like,
predator.
It turns out you can't trust anyone because fucking lesbians are bad.
But it's
really like messed with my brain in like a way
It's
that I was
gross.
like, I hate that you did this movie. I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it.
But can I take like, so plot wise?
Yeah, so she meets this makeup artist. The makeup artist takes her
To
to
the
a party.
She meets the models. The models are threatened by her, as we've kind of discussed.
Yeah, because Elle Fanning just has something.
Which I feel like is okay.
Magical realism style. She's just got something.
Yeah, did this strike you at some point? This became comedic in scenes for me.
Yeah.
Like the scene,
It did. It absolutely did.
So she gets
because
signed,
all of these women are so beautiful.
right. So she gets signed with an agency, and they
This is
make
a
her
little later,
they
yeah.
make her lie about being 19, et cetera, et cetera. Well, she goes to like show her body off. I forget what they call this. It's like she get checked. I don't know.
That's a little bit later.
in front of the
for a runway show. She's essentially auditioning for runway modeling, which is actually completely different from doing catalog photo
and she's never
shoots.
done which is so
But
this
this
is all
movie doesn't
silly.
care about
that.
that.
And so it's actually a gay man who's observing her.
Yes.
But there's this scene where Abby Lee, the actual supermodel, who is a beautiful woman, if you know her from Fury Road and her modeling work and stuff, she's a gorgeous woman.
Yes.
She goes first, her turn is first, and so she does like the runway walk up and down. And the dude, it's like almost ridiculous. The dude, like, he's working on fixing his little pocket
square. He's
and
like folding his pocket square, and he's more interested in looking at it than her.
And she's like, should I like go again? He's like, no, we're good. And then
even when she walks out, he's like, oh, we've seen it all before. Like, it's supposed to, she's the older
She's over the hill, yeah.
We're supposed to get that she's done a lot of work already.
And then
that's what we're supposed to think.
And then Jesse comes in, and he like looks. It's like he's actually.
There's such a long shot of him looking at her.
Yeah, and there's like it's implied that he's having like a sexual experience, basically
but
looking
he's
at her.
supposed to be a gay man.
Yeah,
which they have to spell out for you later,
right?
Because I was like, wait, I thought he was attracted to her.
Yeah, because I mean, did you read something sexual in the scene where like he like shudders and
I was like, oh, so this is about like men objectifying women, but then later we're told that he's a gay man. Yeah. And I'm kind of like, I don't understand.
So, but it was so ridiculous.
I don't understand anything.
I will say Elle Fanning is a really pretty girl.
She is.
But she's also very clearly like a teenager.
Yep.
And it's insane that they would be like, oh, this old hag, you know, like
about
to
like
Abby,
a 28-year-old woman
who's like still very like beautiful by supermodel standards.
What's bizarre is that
so it was
they
like
don't even. I actually wondered if this was intentional, although I feel like I might be giving this movie too much credit. In that the models, the three main models of the movie, are all blonde and they all look very similar.
They do.
Like Jessie is 16, and these other two women are both 28 years old. I think they were probably closer to like 26 when they made this.
Yeah.
They all are blonde. They all have really long hair. They all have really similar makeup a lot of the times.
Yeah.
Like, I think you're supposed to kind of see them as interchangeable.
Oh, that would be interesting if that's what they're doing.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I was like, it's interesting that we have this like sort of 26-year-old model who's also blonde and has a very conventionally attractive appearance.
Right.
And a very slim body type.
Yeah.
And then we have this other 16-year-old and we're supposed to believe that that's a huge difference.
Right.
When really it's like
have you seen
not.
The Room?
The
Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah.
You know how many?
I know. Direction for us to
stay with me.
Okay.
You know how many fucking times in that movie he's like, Lisa's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Like in the whole, to the point where it's like, you're like, no one could be this beautiful.
Yeah.
That's how I felt watching this movie.
I sort of wondered if that was like, eventually I was like, okay, this is just magical realism. Like, I'm just going to go with it. Because the way that people talk about Jessie, and also there's some other magical realism stuff later in the movie that we can get to.
Yeah.
Like dream sequences and stuff. That's intentional, I think.
Yeah.
So I was like, we're supposed to believe that Jessie almost has mystical powers.
Yeah, and that she has
how beautiful she is.
Right, and that she has like this draw that like
and
gets people under her spell,
like,
sort
fetishizing her youth and the fact that she's underage
and
is
a virgin.
A big part of that.
And there's like a whole virginal thing.
and it's
too.
established
That she is a virgin.
that she's a virgin. And like even in that scene early on in the bathroom, the models ask her like, "You've slept with guys, right?" And she lies and is like, "Yeah, I've definitely had sex before." I think even at that point you're supposed to know. I guessed. Oh, she's totally a virgin.
Because the way she answers, she's like, "Oh, I have sex all the time."
Yeah, it's great. I actually liked that. Like, there's some moments where I was like, "Oh, this is like totally how a teen would act," and like she literally is a teenager. And she's kind of
credit
playing
to
it
her.
straight.
Yeah.
And I liked even her sort of downfall later, where she just starts becoming more and more self-involved and is like, "They all want to be me." Like that's kind of her arc. And I was like, if you were 16. You might think that way. Yeah. So, like, that seemed real to me, but, like, that's the extent of her character. Like, there's no real complexity there. But I'm skipping ahead too far. So, anyway, then there's a mountain lion in her bedroom.
There's a mountain lion in the bedroom. Keanu's like, "You gotta pay for this."
So she goes back to her room after getting signed with the modeling agency.
After getting signed with the modeling agency, she goes on a little date with the boy, tells him she's 16. The boy's like, "Nah, I'll still hit it," but like they don't hit it.
Doesn't because she's like, no.
Because he's being respectful.
And also she's a virgin.
Yeah.
She has to stay a virgin for the whole movie or else her blood is worthless.
To the lesbian cult.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then she comes back. What's the point of the mountain lion? Like, there are predators out there.
I thought this was like she's entering the jungle.
Welcome to the
like
jungle.
A fucking literal welcome to the jungle.
Yeah. But then later on,
they don't play that song. But
later on we see at Ruby's house a stuffed wolf, a stuffed tiger.
I was kind of like, did Ruby put the mountain lion in her room? I don't know. It's a little.
That'd be weird, right?
It'd be fucking weird.
Crazy.
That actually isn't what I thought because they say that she accidentally left the back. And
they're like
in
the hills
open.
somewhere.
Yeah. So a mountain lion gets in her room and like fucks up all of her shit.
And so she has to pay for it.
Like,
but that introduces
it's a metaphor for a lot of different things, which is like.
Keanu
Reeves is a sexual predator. Yeah. He owns the motel. He's going to try and get in her room later in the movie and rape her. And that happens later.
And the direction immediately tips us off that we should be afraid of Keanu.
Yes.
By the way, like Elle's acting in response to him and like just the way the camera frames him like
menacingly.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's a bad guy.
He's super bad.
He has there's no character for him either, really, beyond being a shitty dude.
Honestly, everyone in this movie is either a victim or a predator. That's their only characterization, which is so ugly.
Some of them are both.
Oh, sorry. That's really complex. I'm sorry. Jesus.
Who's the real victim?
I think inside we're all the neon demon. I think the neon demon were the friends we made along the way.
Oh my God. I literally don't know what a neon demon is. If anyone knows, tell us. So
she does this. She gets picked for the show.
She gets picked to do a big photo spread, and the Ruby's there to do her makeup.
Yeah, this is before she gets.
And
to
then,
show.
I don't remember if this is pre or post Mountain Lion, but the guy is like the photographer who's like a big name hotshot.
That scene made me so uncomfortable.
I was so upset by this, and I was like, oh, I hate this movie. But it gets a little better, and then it gets worse again later. But so he's like, this is a closed set. Everybody exit the room now. I need to be alone with this model who's a child. She looks really good.
Who I'm not breaking eye contact with. Yeah.
And like Ruby's like, do you want me to stay? Are you sure? And she like really tries to stay.
Yeah. Which and the guy's like, no, we're good.
He's like, no, get out. Get out. I need to have sex with her. And then like they don't actually tell you whether or not they have sex, but since we find out later that she's still a virgin, I guess they don't.
The thing I found it's supposed to evoke sex.
Yes.
In a lot of ways. The thing I found really interesting about the scene, so I'm watching this scene feeling incredibly uncomfortable because like
Why?
as soon as he closes the set and everyone leaves, he's like, take off your clothes.
Yes.
And like makes it, and she very nervously takes her clothes off and leaves just a bra and underwear on. And he's like, those two. Takes those off.
He like says something even worse than that where he's like, what, are you scared or like whatever? And she's like, okay, fine, I'll take off my bra and panties.
Right. And is like shivering in front of him and standing very awkwardly. Luckily, like,
it's horrible. I mean, that scene, I'm sure it's supposed to make you uncomfortable, and it works.
But then he comes in and he dips his hand in gold paint.
He leaves and gets a briefcase that's full of gold paint. Comes back and he's like, briefcase full of gold paint. And then he
did sing that. That was weird. Briefcase full of gold paint.
Briefcase full of gold paint. It was actually like a weird dance number.
It was great though. I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
And then he just starts like painting her neck and collarbone.
And there's a lot of like sort of choking imagery.
And she's like,
but she's like kind of relaxes into it.
Yeah. And then afterwards she said it was great. So that was like really unexpected for me. It was like instead of it being like a violation, it was like a consensual experience.
But was it
I didn't write the fucking
I didn't
script.
interpret it that way. I interpreted it as like her going along with something that she didn't necessarily want to do because she felt like she had to.
That's what I thought at
I feel
first.
like I've kind of, I mean, like, ladies, we've all been there. You know, where you're like in a situation where you're like, this, I don't want to fucking do this, but like,
all my life.
yeah. But like, and like, luckily for her, it didn't go any further than this guy wanting to put a bunch of gold paint on her neck,
So we think.
as far as we know.
Yeah.
And I think we're supposed to believe it doesn't go any further than
Yeah,
that.
but I also think we're supposed to believe that when she comes out and Ruby says, "How was it?" and she says, "It was good. It was great." I believe her when she says that.
I didn't. I thought she was being defensive and being like,
I don't need your help.
yes.
All right.
Because she's still a teenager, and
But
so,
in the
but there's
scene-
different ways you can interpret it.
Yeah.
and they don't tell you how to interpret
No,
it. So
because
good
we
fucking luck.
don't get a glimpse inside
We
of
don't.
Jesse's
We don't know.
perspective.
When she goes home that night, is that the mountain lion thing? So we don't actually get any moment when
I
she's
can't
at home by
remember.
herself, and we get to kind of see how she really feels.
But you-
like
yeah.
that's a situation where it would have benefited from her going home and like
like,
lying
thinking
on
about
the
it.
bed and being like, "Fuck," or
I
like, you
think-
know what I mean? Like
I
that
think
would
though,
have helped.
if you watch the progression of her throughout the movie, her clothes get more seductive. Like she goes
Yes.
from exclusively like light
she starts
pink,
out in these very
baby doll
childish,
dresses. They're all baby doll
Juliet,
dresses.
like Romeo and Juliet, like
Yeah.
nightgown kind of dresses.
Yeah. And then like she starts dressing herself in like the gold
yeah,
tank top at
yeah,
the end that
and
exposes
she's wearing
her cleave.
more makeup and
Yeah.
stuff.
And so I think what we're supposed to interpret from that is her settling into this and like enjoying
Identity.
this. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
And-
scene at the diner and
Which
everything like that.
I is that the next thing? What are we skipping
I don't
over
know.
here? I don't know. Let's get to that. Oh well, we already talked about the
She gets the
scene with the
show.
runway modeling gig,
And this is when the
and
model's
she
like,
runs
"Oh,
into
shit."
she runs into the model
Gigi.
in the bathroom, and that's when the first of the
Oh,
lesbian
I
blood
forgot.
cult starts.
I forgot about this. Yeah, she gets picked for the show.
The runway show.
I went over the scene
by the gay guy.
Yeah, I went over the scene where the gay guy has the weird like little sexual shudder.
Yeah,
watching
this was
her
like
walk.
the middle of the movie where I was like, I think I like this movie, where
Yeah.
she like confronts this other model in the bathroom.
And I thought Abby Lee, her scene here was really good.
it was so good
because it's this woman who like in this reality is at the end of her career. And not
like
only that,
in her mid 20s, she's at the end of her career,
and
which
it's
is
like
insane.
and what she's been valued for and loved and desired for, she feels is fading and being taken from her.
Yeah.
And that this woman, this girl she's
Yeah.
sitting across from is the epitome of everything she wants back.
Yeah.
And felt she lost. And she sells that. I'm like, oh my, like, wow.
Yeah, so she's in there and she like throws something at the mirror, a trash can or something at the mirror,
and
breaks
because
it.
she's having kind of like
which is like a little on the nose. She's
Yeah.
breaking a mirror, but whatever.
We got
I'm
it,
with
we
it.
got it.
She rips up the photos in her portfolio.
Yeah.
This is like a very by the book scene, but it worked for me.
And then Jessie comes to check
Jessie
in on her.
actually comes into the bathroom, which I wouldn't have done. I would
no,
have been
if
like,
I hear
I'm gonna go.
crashing and screaming, I'm gonna leave.
But she walks in there and
Yeah.
like tries to talk to her and is kind of like, I'm really sorry. I thought you did great.
Yeah.
And like tries to kind of have a human moment with this other model, and it doesn't really work because then Jessie cuts her hand.
Well, what happens is, so the model, she's like,
What's this model's name again?
I forget what her name. I only remember
One of them's
Gigi because I just kept calling her
This
the
is
Dag.
the other one.
Yeah, and she, the Dag, she's like, tell me what it feels like.
Yeah. To
They-
have everyone look at you.
Right, and Jesse's like, it's fucking everything, man. I mean,
Yeah.
that wasn't the literal. That would be it's fucking everything, man.
She pretty much says that though. She's
Yeah.
like, honestly, it's great.
And then as soon as she says that, the Dag like makes a move toward her.
Yeah.
That's why she goes back and cuts her hand on
Jessie
the
like
glass.
leans back as though to get away from.
Yeah, and then so she cuts her hand, like it's a deep cut. on
Yeah,
her
well, there's
hand.
a lot of mirror shards all over the
Right.
floor. So she cuts her hand.
And so the Dag is like, let me see, like ostensibly to take a look and like help her out. And so Jessie extends her hand, and the Dag fucking leans forward and starts sucking the blood from her hand
It's
like a desperate crack fiend.
amazing.
It is. I was like, damn.
I love that scene.
That
and
was
I was
cool.
like, this is it. The movie's getting fucking weird.
Yeah, and then Jessie pulls her hand back, and
Virgin blood.
Jessie pulls her hand back, and the Dag's like got
blood all over her
streaming
face.
out her face, and is just like, give this to me.
Yeah, she's just like a feral. And like, I was like, I'm here for
That's
this movie.
cool, yeah.
Like, just being like models eating each other.
yeah.
And like, I get that that's like a very on the nose way to talk about like
the fashion
women
industry.
competing with one another.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it is.
And it's like, it's a really old perception of the fashion industry as being
It
like
is.
vicious and women
That
are
was something
bitches.
interesting about this movie, actually, that I forgot to bring up early on. I did not realize that this movie came out this year.
Yeah.
Because I didn't. Well, Keanu Reeves is an eternal
Yeah. He'll
demon
always
who
look the
looks
same.
exactly the same
Yeah.
because he's a vampire or something.
Yeah.
So, and Elle Fanning.
And he's really the only marker of time we can rely on.
I didn't really like think about how old Elle Fanning is. I just
Yeah.
like didn't think about it at all.
Right.
So there was a significant part of me that was like, did this movie come out like 10 years ago?
Yeah, because the perception of the fashion
Like
industry
I
is
literally
very,
didn't. It's like
yeah.
something that could have come out in 1995.
Yeah.
Like that's the level of like feminist analysis. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where I was like, this is almost like a great like 90s.
Right. We've come further than this.
Yes.
Yes.
Like that was how the movie felt to me. And then when I looked it up and I was like, oh, Mary Ellen recommended a movie that came out in literally 2016.
Yes.
And I did not know I was watching a new movie.
That's funny.
The
I
entire
didn't know that.
movie, I did not know that.
You're like, wow, the 90s were crazy.
I mean, I didn't think it was literally in the 90s.
Right.
I thought it was like kind of contemporary, but I was
Yeah.
like, this movie feels really old.
Yeah.
And it frankly does.
Yeah.
Like, that,
No, I was, not the visual and the music effects.
that's true. But like
that
the
felt-
narrative and messages of
Yeah.
it felt like not not good enough
read a
for
book.
2016.
Yeah.
You know?
Go to the library. That's
Yeah.
what I just kept saying that. I was like really roasting this
Anyway,
director.
so the scene in the bathroom I liked.
That was cool.
I'm here for all these model bathroom scenes apparently. Any
Yeah.
of the scenes with the models talking to each other.
Yeah.
In general, I actually really liked.
Because then they disappeared for like half the movie. Did
Yeah.
you notice that? I did.
Yeah. So
Um,
anyway, after that is the diner scene, I think.
Well, first she gets the show.
Yes.
The
There's
actual
a really
runway
long
show.
runway montage.
Oh my god! And she like makes out with her own reflection
Yeah,
three
there's
times. I'm like,
a
I
dream
get it.
sequence in the runway show, which is
Yeah.
essentially like a big music video.
Yeah.
Where the other models are looking at Elle and she's looking at herself in the mirror
And making out with
herself in the mirror.
Yeah.
Which again,
We've all
really
been there.
on the
Oh,
nose.
I mean,
really like
yeah.
get it?
Yeah. It was like the Red Rum moment.
And
all
I
over
was
again.
like, yeah, movie, I get it. But I was okay with it. I was actually like,
because
okay
it was at
with
least
the movie at that
visually
point.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't hate this. Like, it's
Yeah.
not doing anything new, but I don't hate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, then I actually still liked the movie through the diner scene. I still liked it all the way
Well,
up to
that
the
had to-
scene that we're building to,
Oh
which is
my
the fucking
God.
sexual assault scene.
Yeah.
That was where I was like, no, I hate this again. But
Yeah.
before that, there's the diner scene where
Yes.
the gay guy invites
Who's the gay guy
Gigi?
who ran the runway show? Was like a
Yes.
big model guy. He's big in the
it's
industry.
after the runway show's over and he's like,
sitting
let's all
with-
go out to eat.
He's sitting with Gigi and some other model.
Another model who we don't find out anything about.
No.
She's just
her.
unnamed. She's just sitting there.
And he's talking about the nature of beauty, and he thinks beauty is inherent.
This fucking scene.
Also, like,
I
who the fuck
didn't
is this
know.
guy? He's just like a dude. He's like, well, I think you're born beautiful. Like, well, sorry for you then, because you're
The
like,
big
okay.
quote was like, beauty isn't everything.
It's the only thing.
And that was clearly meant to be the takeaway.
Well, and in all these fucking interviews I've been reading through, he's like, that's what I really believe. I'm like, are you kidding me, dude?
Yeah. So anyway, this gay guy
Yeah.
is hanging out with these two models, and then Dean, is his real name Dean? I don't even know.
His real name's Dean.
His real name, his character's name
They-
in the movie is Dean, and he's the photographer boyfriend of
Yeah,
of Elle.
Jesse.
Jesse.
Yeah.
So they show up and she's like tries to sit down next to Gigi,
Yeah.
and Gigi's like, "There's not enough room in the booth."
You can't sit with us.
And Elle's like, "Fine, we'll go sit in this other nearby booth, like right fucking next to you
Right.
guys then." Like weirdo.
And this is when our favorite line happened, where
Yeah.
where Dean introduced
Where she-
himself to the gay like modeling industry guy, and he was like, "Your name's Bean." It was amazing. I was like,
not even an important moment. And
was just
Dean
so
is
good.
like, no,
No,
it's
it's
Dean.
Dean.
And he's like, okay, Dean. All right. And like, it's clear that Dean, he's a photographer. He wants to be up and coming in the industry.
Right.
But his photos aren't very good.
no.
And also, as this scene establishes, he's not cutthroat enough.
Yeah, and
to
he
make
doesn't.
it.
He doesn't like this whole like beauty vanity competition.
as the gay
thing.
guy, who I have to call that because I don't fucking remember his character's name. Sorry.
Yeah, we just keep calling him the gay guy.
I'm sorry. He's the
Yeah.
only gay guy in this movie, and he's a dick. I don't know what that tells you.
Yeah.
Uh,
all the gay people in this movie
yeah,
are
I know.
terrible people.
I know.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah.
So anyway, the gay guy's like, hey Bean, let's directly compare the women who are here.
Right, because Gigi says that you're not.
Gigi's had a lot of plastic surgery.
Yeah.
That's established.
Yeah.
She says that,
She's-
even though she doesn't look like she has it all.
Not
She
at
looks
all.
absolutely beautiful. But we're supposed to believe
Right.
that
And
her
so-
beauty's been tarnished by all this plastic
Right,
surgery.
and so she's
had.
like, I don't think beauty's just innate. I think you can modify yourself to be beautiful.
Yeah, she says that.
And so the modeling guy, the super high industry dude, he's like, all right, Bean, look at this chick. You think
He's like,
you think
let's
she's hot?
directly compare this mid-20s plastic surgery model to your 16-year-old girlfriend.
Yeah.
What do you think? Who do you think's hotter? And Bean's like, I don't really know.
I'm uncomfortable.
Dude.
She's
I'm
fine.
not comfortable with this.
And he's like, exactly. She's just fine.
Yeah.
She's not amazing.
she's not anything like Jessie, who's the most beautiful woman we've ever fucking seen.
Ever. Lisa.
Yeah, and Jessie sits there like smoking
Yeah.
hot with her eyes smizing.
And she loves it.
Yeah,
She's like so into
She's
this.
like leaning back in the booth and she's like, everybody thinks I'm hot.
But Bean
I'm
doesn't like
16
it.
and I love it.
But Bean's like, can we like leave? And she's like, you can leave.
Yeah, like
So
at
this
this
is-
point, I think this is why I think we're supposed to kind of like Bean, maybe.
Oh.
But I don't know because fucking Refn is
Yeah.
like on the side of narcissism.
Yeah. So
But
I think
Bean-
Refn's like this motherfucker.
Yeah,
here.
I don't know. I don't know what we're supposed
I
to take
don't know
away.
either.
In that moment, I don't actually think. Oh no, you do see Bean again one more time before. the
Yeah,
movie
he's like
ends.
sitting by the stairs. He's like, "What are you?" I'm like, "Go away."
But doesn't he
kind
also
of fades away.
like pay for the damages from the mountain
That was
lion?
before this
Oh, that
convo.
already happened.
Yeah.
Oh, so then this is kind of the last time we see Bean.
Yeah.
Also, he decides he
in the
doesn't
meantime,
like
she's
what
fainted
Jesse's.
she's fainted like
Yeah,
5
Jessie
times.
keeps fainting.
She faints a lot.
She faints constantly. She's.
Yeah.
But I thought that was like kind of like a Disney princess thing.
Yeah, that's true. And she even speaks in a kind of sedated way.
Yeah,
a lot of times,
like sort of a sleeping
she's
beauty, like
I'm really beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that was supposed to be good or bad or what.
You could say that about literally anything in this
know.
movie. Yeah,
I
I don't know if
know.
it's intentional or if it's good or if it's bad.
Don't know.
Yeah,
Don't know what the
don't know.
takeaway is.
Really
Honestly,
don't know.
This movie's just kind of putting a lot of shit out there and being like, "Fuck you."
Yeah.
Pretty much. So anyway, I guess we're supposed to hate Bean, which makes me feel differently about this scene, honestly.
Yeah, I don't
So
know.
he kind of looks at these transparent
He doesn't like
assholes,
this, yeah.
and he's like, I don't like this. And then he goes home and waits for Jessie
Yeah.
on her front stoop at the motel.
The motel.
And she comes back and she's like, why the fuck are you here, dude?
Yeah.
I didn't want to talk to you. I told you to leave. I don't want to be with you. She
Yeah.
doesn't say all that, but it's clear.
Yeah.
And he's like, what are you? And she's like, everybody wants to be me.
Yeah. So she's like in.
She's in. This
And
is the
Bean
part where
is, like,
she is
out.
like, I'm in 100%
Yeah.
on being everybody's fetish.
Yeah.
I'm here for this. This is the life I want to lead. This is me. This is it.
This makes me very angry because right after this happens comes our first sexual assault
Yep.
scene, and so I feel like she's
being
being punished exactly. And so, but meanwhile, Nicholas Winding Road is like no, like vanity's great, embrace vanity, it's beauty's great.
But
at the
that's
same
not
time, he's
what
like,
this
but
movie's
she'll
saying.
be punished for it.
I know, because
so it's like it tries to say something new, but it says every fucking thing
like,
that's been said about beautiful
I know,
women.
And like to circle back to the beginning of this movie, this is a character who it's established has no other options
yeah.
other than to pursue modeling.
Right.
And she's fucking killing it.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to
Be like, you bitch.
Yeah, we're supposed to be
you
mad.
stupid little orphan.
Like we're supposed to. I mean, later she refers to herself as dangerous,
What the fuck was
which
that?
we can get to when we get to
Yeah.
that scene. But like, I think that she's basically we're supposed to kind of see her as sort of evil in a way.
Yeah.
For pursuing a career in modeling and for essentially fucking bootstrapping
Yeah.
out of
And for enjoying
what
it.
would be and enjoying it
Yeah.
and knowing she's beautiful.
Yeah.
And using her only asset in life. Like this is like literally what sex work advocacy is all
Right.
about.
Yeah.
Is like letting
Saying
women
this is a legitimate form of labor and it's okay.
Being like it's actually okay if women get paid for something that's going to happen to them anyway, which is their
Yeah.
sexual objectification. And this movie,
And if you can give them any amount of
Yeah.
control and
Yeah, and,
compensation
like-
for that, then let's do that.
yeah, and
Yeah.
like let women control their own image. I mean, this movie kind of invites some criticism by being like, why do a lot of men control the fashion industry? Why do
I don't think it, do you think
but
it even
doesn't
yeah,
really it doesn't really
no.
criticize that.
Because Christina Hendricks is also seen as like a powerful figure. So I feel
Yeah,
like it's not
but
uni-
she's only in the movie for like 2 seconds.
she was great. great though.
She's great, and
Yeah.
I was like excited for her to be a presence.
Right.
She's she runs a modeling agency that signs Jessie, and she's in the movie for literally one scene.
Right.
And she's like completely emotionally manipulative.
Yeah.
Instantly disses
So
Jessie's weight in like a fucked
Yeah.
up way.
Which-
but
and I
then
thought-
turns it around and is like, "You're actually pretty beautiful." And I was like, these lines, I liked how that was written, and it
Yeah.
felt real and like terrifying.
All of like the very female aggression was great.
it felt
I feel
real
like that's
to
what
me.
we're picking, and not in the way where like all women are
No, no,
bitches,
no.
but in a world where women are restricted in certain ways,
Yeah,
and where
yeah.
you have to be very femme. This is what violence and aggression will come out as.
Yeah.
which I thought was like
Lesbian
really interesting.
blood cults, that's real.
It'll come out as a
Those
lesbian blood
things
cult.
Felt real to me.
That felt, as soon as I saw them eating her, I was like, this feels so real. This is my life.
like we're saying that, but those were like my favorite parts.
well, I think
The fact that the movie's like condemning that, and condemning Elle Fanning's character, I was like, what are we saying? Like, what's the takeaway?
it's not saying anything.
I know.
Yeah.
And I hate that.
I hate it too.
I hate that it
Fuck
says
this
nothing.
movie.
Because I wanted the movie to either
Because there's so much to say.
let these women succeed and just have them be fucking evil
Yeah.
and be like, yeah.
Well, I think that's
Like, that would be kind
I
of
think that's what they
amazing.
tried to do.
But it fails at that.
Because what happens
Let's talk
next?
about this fucking scene.
Oh my god, the sexual assault
This
scene.
next
So right
scene-
out, so Jessie's like relaxing and she's like happy.
She's wearing
kinda like,
her super sexy outfit from
yeah,
the diner. She's
like feeling her legs a little bit and
she's like lying on
she's
the
feeling
bed.
great.
Yeah, she's like feeling good about herself
Yeah.
as a sexual being.
And so obviously,
Obviously, the next thing that happens is a sexual assault.
Right, and so-
Keanu Reeves appears in her room and sticks a knife down her throat, and
While
it's
she's
phallic.
sleeping.
While
Yeah.
she's sleeping, he opens her mouth and puts a knife down her throat really slowly, like
Yeah.
as though it's his dick, but it's
yeah.
a knife.
And then he keeps telling her like open wider,
Yeah.
and she's terrified and gagging, and he's sticking this knife in her throat.
It's the worst thing you've ever
It's-
seen.
And it lasts like
Way too
uncomfortably
long.
long.
Way too long.
Not that it's like 30 seconds felt right. Like I don't think there's an amount of time where like this would be great. It was bad that it happened, but it was like even worse that it lasted a long
Yeah,
time.
and then she
wakes up.
It was a dream, guys.
But right when she wakes up, she hears somebody struggling to get into her room and runs immediately and locks the door. So
Yes.
this is another the magical realism thing where she has like a warning dream.
yeah, she
about
has,
something that might
which
happen.
is kind of like the human brain does that.
Yeah.
Like dreams are only like split seconds long, and they're usually like you know how you have a dream about your alarm going off and then it goes off.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
like a dream that your brain manifests.
Or your alarm music is going off in the
Yes,
dream in a
that
different
kind of thing.
context.
So
Yeah.
I think we're supposed to think like,
She
oh,
heard
she
the
heard
door. Yeah.
Keanu Reeves' character trying to get in.
Yeah.
And she had this dream of him assaulting her.
Yeah.
And then woke up and
Ran and locked the door.
and locked the door.
But
And the lock on her door was already broken, so it's like that's established.
Yeah.
So it's already like understandable that he can't get in because
Right,
they
'cause
show
he had trouble getting in
multiple times
earlier.
that it's like a broken lock and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's how she's able to save herself in time.
yeah. So Keanu decides to go over
He goes to the next room and
room.
rapes the other girl.
Yeah.
That's what I think we're supposed to take.
Oh
from
yeah,
that scene.
and you hear the girl screaming and saying "Let go of me," and you hear thuds against the wall.
And
you-
I actually like the composition visually
Oh,
of
yeah.
Elle. So she goes up to the wall and listens to,
and then it zooms out and she's surrounded by just like darkness.
and she's surrounded by like these the wallpaper is
Yeah.
leaves, which is part of the like welcome to the jungle bullshit.
Ooh, yeah.
I thought.
Yeah.
Where it's like it's always leaves and it's showing these leaves and it's like, oh, she's wandering through this jungle of predators.
Yeah.
And so they show her like pressed up against the wall.
And there's a little ring of light around the wall in the
Yeah.
wallpaper, and then the rest is just dark. It's
yeah,
just
and
black.
she's not listening in like a sexy way. She's like listening in
And you're
like a
I'm
terrified way.
Yeah. And then we start to hear over the audio over that is her terrified phone call to
She calls Ruby.
Um,
And she's like, because Ruby had always told her, like, if anything bad
Right.
is happening to you,
Here's my
call
number,
me.
yeah.
And I'll invite you to my house and try to rape you. That's
but
what
she
happens.
she whispered that part. She was
That's
like,
what happens next, folks.
She was like, no, I'm taking
I'll try to rape you.
Excuse me? Don't even worry about it. She take my
Don't
number.
worry about it.
And then I'll invite my friends to come meet you. It'll be totally fine.
It'd be fine. It'd be fine. I'm not in a cult that tries to bathe in the blood of virgins after they
We also get
refuse to have sex.
I forget where this falls in, but we get literally a 2-second scene where it's established that Ruby also puts makeup on corpses.
Oh yeah.
as
At
a
one point we
side
learned
gig.
that she works for a morgue.
Yeah,
and
which
she's
comes
got a
into
side
play.
gig at a morgue.
Yeah. we've all been there. Respect the hustle. And so she runs away to Ruby's house after the sexual assault
And
that she
Ruby
overhears.
lives in a huge mansion. Okay, so this is why I think they've already murdered people.
Oh, because she said, I'm just house sitting, but it was like really
but it's
creepy
like
and
super
weird.
creepy. And I was like,
That's a
so
good
she
point.
probably murdered a model who used to live here.
That's
That was
a good
what
point.
I thought it was.
Yeah. I
think the
believe
lesbian
that.
blood cult has been going on for far too long. Models have died before; they'll die again. That was my takeaway of it.
And
But I don't know; it's never stated.
Yeah, I believe that though. Because
So
it was really, she's like, I'm house
She's
sitting.
like, I'm house sitting. This
Yeah.
isn't my house. Whose house is it?
She
Don't worry
burps
about
up
it.
blood.
She just like wipes some blood off her chin. That was nothing. I wasn't eating a blood. What?
A lady?
I gotta go. But
and
anyway,
so she's
put
like,
on this. Go take a shower.
we get literally like 5 minutes of
my
like Ella
God.
being
I, like-
comforted, and like she's like, I'm so glad you're helping me out, Ruby. And Ruby's brushing her hair, and then Ruby like goes in for
tries
it.
to rape her.
Yeah, tries to rape her.
Yeah.
Um,
And then Elle Fanning pushes her off,
she says, no, get off me, no, please stop, no.
which is like effective, but like the assault's already happened. Like sexual assault
Yeah.
has occurred.
yes,
And
yeah.
then
and she just
Ruby's on the floor.
makes a yeah, she's on the floor.
And then Elle Fanning's Jesse's like, I'm actually a virgin. It's not that I
No, this is before she
says-
pushes her to the floor. This is
Oh,
when she's
she-
trying to get her to like stop like hitting on her.
Yeah.
She's like, it's not because I don't like you, it's because I'm a virgin. I've never done this sort of thing before.
Yeah.
And Ruby's like, oh, don't even worry about it, and like continues trying to rape her.
Yeah.
And then Jessie pushes
on
her
the
off.
floor.
And she just makes a mad face, gets up, and leaves the room.
Yeah, and then she like draws.
Oh my god,
A
this was
face?
so dumb.
This
She
was-
goes to a mirror with her red lipstick, draws 2 X's, and then makes like a smiley face, a dead smiley face.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the scene.
Yeah.
You know those
But
those
the
predatory
movie's not
lesbians.
over yet.
Oh my god. Well, and then it
And then
gets
somehow, crazily,
wait.
Jesse's able to fall asleep.
Yeah, she's able to fall asleep and then wakes up in the morning, finds the dead-eyed smiley face, and
And
is
is
like,
like,
"This
all
is
right.
okay." Yeah,
That's crazy.
at that.
It's
This
crazy
is the point.
that she could fall asleep.
Yeah, this is the point where I was texting you. I was like, "Bitch, get out of the house."
But
This
like,
is what I was
where's
texting.
she gonna go?
Anywhere. This woman just tried to rape you. She's
I know,
gotta have some
but-
income coming in already from.
I mean, I don't know what I would have done if I were in an Elle Fanning
I would
situation.
get out the house.
But at the same time, I did kind of like appreciate that this is a character where like everyone she meets tries to rape her. So
That's-
at that point, maybe she's just like, this is my
seems-
life now.
Which is like so fucked. Anyway, meanwhile, Jesus.
Oh my
This,
god,
guys, this is a part where it's like it just this movie goes over the
I
line.
like how we've already said this is the part where the movie goes to another level, but we've said that about like the last 3 scenes.
That's true. Yeah.
Honestly, the movie just keeps getting fucking weirder.
But this is the part where it's like I would never recommend this to like.
This is part of
friend.
why I can't recommend
Yeah.
the movie. So, Ruby goes to the morgue.
To go make up a young woman.
A young-ish woman.
Yeah.
Like maybe in her 20s.
Yeah.
Who's blonde and like attractive and I guess died tragically young.
Sure.
And so she starts putting makeup on this woman and then starts
Goes and closes the door.
fantasizing about Jessie.
Yes.
While putting makeup
We
on
get
a
flashes.
dead woman.
We get flashes of Jessie like laying seductively on a couch, and,
Which
like
are
touching her
clearly
face.
within Ruby's fantasy. They're
Right.
not real.
Right. 'Cause
Jessie
she's
isn't
making
just hanging out on a couch somewhere.
and she's like making eye contact with the camera, so
Yeah,
we're to
yeah,
understand
yeah.
this is in Ruby's like mind.
Yeah.
And so Ruby decides to like run with this fantasy, and,
And has sex with a dead woman.
yes, that's the only way we can say it.
It goes on for a really long
Oh
time.
my god!
Long scene.
And
They show a lot of it.
You know, fucking Windings is like, he's like, oh, people are gonna be so mad at this. Oh, I'm so fucking
People were
edgy.
mad. People fucking booed at the screen.
Yeah,
When
but I'm
this-
sure
when
he
this
like,
aired at Cannes.
I'm sure he was so into that.
he loved it.
Like this is like there's no point to the scene other than to be like lesbians are really scary and dangerous.
Yeah. Lesbians are scary, and they're so desperate that they'll fuck a
corpse. Yeah.
They'll rape people.
Like lesbians
They'll
aren't.
groom a child.
Yeah.
Like retroactively, all the times that Ruby's Nice was grooming.
Right.
Predatory
And
grooming.
this to like sexually assault a corpse is so
While fantasizing about a 16-year-old girl.
is so outside the bounds of like.
I mean, it's also like beyond the realm of what I think reality.
Oh my God.
Like I don't even really think this describes a person.
Yeah.
But
I hope not.
It's a horror movie, but it's
Yeah.
also like I get that it's a horror movie,
It's a
but
horror
it
movie, but
sucks
there's
that the
no-
lesbian character is in this position.
It's also
and-
it's a horror movie. There's no fucking point to any of this. There's
No, I
no
know.
there's no
usually horror movies kind of have like some
at
sort
least
of,
some symbolic significance.
yeah.
And I'm somebody who likes horror movies. I like slasher films, and I understand when something is like clearly supposed to be removed, like heightened reality and
Yeah.
stuff. But then I look at something like this, I'm like, there's no point to this. You don't. There's no kind of artistic merit to what you're showing us
There's
right now.
not, and I also didn't even really get it within the context of like the lesbian blood cult kind of thing, which we're about to get to
Yeah.
finally. And then I kind of started to like the movie for like a second again because
Right.
so Ruby goes home from the morgue
To
and
find
finds
Jesse, like,
just
all-
hanging out.
She's dolled up. She's been putting
Oh,
on makeup
right,
all
I forgot
day.
about this. So
Just
Jesse,
looking great.
I think we're just supposed to believe that Jesse just loses her mind at this point. Like after the rape, she just kind of like disassociates completely.
Because she's acting really weird.
She acts really
she's,
weird.
like talking in that really dreamy, sedate
Sing-song
voice. And
voice.
it's like, my mother always
Yeah,
said I
she
was
just
dangerous.
she starts disassociating.
Yeah.
She puts on a ball gown. She puts on a fuckload of makeup.
Yeah, and is
she
standing
goes
on the
and stand on the diving board of
an
a
empty
pool that's
pool.
empty.
Yeah,
And just hanging out there.
right.
And like
And Ruby comes out and she's
Ruby
like, "What's
comes
up?"
home
Yeah.
and is like, "Hey."
Yeah.
So we're both a couple of wackadoos.
Let's chat about it.
And like isn't weirded out that Jesse's still there or that Jesse's
No.
wearing a lot of makeup and has a ball gown on.
No.
Isn't weirded out by that.
And this is when Jessie gets her monologue, like, "I'm a dangerous girl."
Yeah, she's like, my mother always told me I was dangerous.
Which,
and I was like, what?
That's a totally meaningless statement because we don't know her mother. We don't know what happened to her mother.
Yeah,
we
her
don't know what the
are
fuck
her
she
parents
meant
dead?
by
Really?
by she's What does that mean? You're
Like,
dangerous.
is she dangerous because, and then she kind of spells it out. She's like, it's because I know I'm beautiful.
Yeah.
Anyone would kill to have this body. And
And
like,
she makes some like bullshit like
everyone wants to be me. It's that
it's
kind of
why girls
monologue.
have eating disorders. It's like fuck
Yeah.
off. You don't understand anything.
Yeah, she's like, people starve themselves
To death.
to be me.
Yeah. And,
And
it's
I'm
like,
like,
no,
well,
that's sociologically that's not true.
that was the part of the movie that really
Yeah,
took
up
you
until
out
that,
of it.
I'm like, all
You're
right, I'm signed on.
with this.
And I'm like, wait a
And then
minute.
you're like, hold on.
This is a factual
Fact
inaccuracy.
check.
That was the moment.
Rongo bongo, Elle Fanning.
Yeah. That's what I said.
Yep, to
Then
the
I-
screen.
yeah.
Yeah. So that was what took you out of it. Interestingly, the rest of the movie took me out of it.
So then, after a little speech, she walks into
She
this big
wa-
mansion.
she comes off the
Uh-oh.
diving board
Yeah.
with Jesse or with Ruby.
Ruby, yeah.
I guess I don't remember what order this happens in.
She
goes
walks into the
inside.
mansion, and the
other two models are
Well,
there.
what we just see Gigi,
We see Gigi at first.
and Jesse
and
looks at
Jesse's
Gigi
like,
and goes,
"What are we having a party?"
"Yeah," and Gigi like makes an evil face, and then I forget the model's name, the Dag, knocks this bitch out. Like she comes around a corner and just like socks her one right in the face. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah,
like I was
it's
into
on.
it. Yeah.
At this point, I assumed that what happened was Ruby fucks the corpse. She's heading home.
Yeah.
She's like, listen, I don't know how I know this, but I know Jesse's still gonna be at my place,
And I know
she's
these
gonna
two
be
are down to murder
emotionally
her.
vulnerable.
Yeah.
So
What?
let's kill her. Let's
Yeah.
kill her. Let's kill her. Let's eat her, and
Yeah.
let's definitely save all of her blood
And
put
bathe
it
in
in
it.
the bathtub and bathe in it.
Which is what happens.
How did they know Jesse would still be there?
Well, also, how did she get these when we last saw the models, because we'd taken a break from the models for like 45 minutes in this movie.
Yeah.
When we last saw the models, they were peeved and they were like seeing her as a threat. I don't know if they were like ready to murder,
Yeah,
but they are here.
they are.
Because they go after her with knives. The Dag cuts her leg on the stairs, and so Jessie starts slowing down. They get her back outside the pool. They push her.
They push her
Ruby
into the pool.
pushes her into the pool. She breaks everything, and is all like
Splayed out, broken bones on the pool.
and you see them approaching her body in the pool, and then it cuts away. And
then it cuts to
a
Ruby.
sexy shower scene.
Ruby, I think the first shot is Ruby in the bathtub full of blood.
Well, her face is covered in blood.
Yes.
She's just like all
She's
virgin blood
completely
everywhere.
bathing in Jesse's virgin blood.
And then like peeks her eyes open at the two models, like
who are in the shower,
it was
naked,
like way too on the
washing
nose.
blood off themselves.
Yeah.
but like also kind of like
Sexily. Oh my
cuddling
God.
each other.
And Ruby's like just watching them, like super into it.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Then we get a scene of we get like just like a montage.
Yeah.
Where
we get
Ruby-
Ruby looking at the moon.
Well, she's first of all she's topless and watering plants, and then washes out the pool.
Yeah.
And then she digs like a grave and lies in the grave for a little bit.
She digs a grave. I think she was lying on top of Jesse's body. in that scene.
Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, she's already shown a propensity.
So she
for this
digs
kind
a
of
grave
behavior.
in this huge garden of this mansion that isn't hers. That's
and
what
it's
I
probably
figured.
other bodies in there.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
I know.
And then there's a
So
scene,
she probably fucks the dead corpse
probably.
again.
And then there's a scene of her in front of a big window and the moon's there. And we've already associated the moon with Jesse because Jesse has a whole story
so
of
way
like
earlier in the I didn't even get this.
yeah, there's nothing to get. She's just like, when I was little, I would go up on the roof and I thought the moon was a big eye. And I was like, are you looking at me? And it was the moon. Like, that's the story.
It
But-
turns out that everybody's looking at Jesse.
Oh,
all
I
the
guess
time.
that's it.
Even
looking.
the moon is.
Yeah. And so then she looks at the moon and then she lies down.
Yeah,
and
Ruby's
we, like,
completely naked.
and we zoom up like her
Crotch.
vagine.
Yep. She does a downward dog.
Yeah.
And then
she's doing like moon yoga a
has
little bit.
blood period.
I watched
Water
this.
breaking
I watched
scene?
this like maybe 6 times trying to figure out what the hell kind of fluid was
I think it's
just
blood.
Well, but it's like it's
gushes
like
out of her.
gushing and it's not like
so
thick.
this is kind of where the movie starts to get supernatural because
Yeah.
I think the models all eat Jesse.
Yeah.
And it
Which we,
affects
like, later
their
confirm.
bodies in different supernatural
Oh.
ways. So for Ruby, this doesn't make sense. You're saying "oh" as though I'm like revealing
this explains
a
everything.
logical. No, it's not logical at fucking all.
Yeah.
But that was, I guess, my interpretation is that.
And she looked
for
happy.
her,
She was, like, psyched about it.
She gives birth to a bunch of blood, I guess. The blood exits her body.
Yeah.
But she's rejuvenated by it in some
'Cause she was, like,
witchy,
happy.
moon-like way.
Yeah.
It's a positive experience for her. So that's the last time we see
Not
Ruby,
for
I
me.
think.
Yeah, that's the end of Ruby's story.
Yeah.
Which really neatly ties everything up, I think.
It does. And then we cut
The
back
models
to
go out to a shoot.
the other models
Uh-huh.
who go to a shoot, and one of them has been contracted to do the shoot, and the other one's just tagging along with
Yeah.
it. And they've both eaten Jesse ahead of time.
Which we get confirmed because there's another young model at the shoot, and she's like, "Have you ever had a model steal an opportunity from you?"
And she's another like young blonde model, like
Yeah.
everyone in this fucking
right.
movie.
And the dad is like, "Yeah," and the model's like, "What'd you do to her?" And she's like, "I ate her." And
Yeah.
the model like laughs. She's like, "Ah, gross." But then like they go to Gigi, and she's like very nervous that she just said this, which I thought was really funny.
I didn't think that was
It's
funny.
like, God damn it! Don't
Yeah,
tell.
I know.
And then at the shoot, we see Gigi's in obvious distress. She's feeling really
Gigi's
nauseous.
like getting really freaked out.
She's holding her stomach a bunch. She can't focus at the shoot.
But before that, the photographer, who I think is the same creepy guy
it is.
from the gold paint,
Yeah, that's
gold
definitely
paint briefcase.
Yeah,
So
gold paint
gold paint
briefcase.
briefcase is doing the shoot, and
he's
I
like-
like how I can't even tell if it's the same guy. It's a different white guy potentially. Honestly,
they're
if
all
it was
creepy.
the same guy, I would not be surprised. If it was, a different guy, I wouldn't be surprised
Yeah.
either, though.
It
Is
was
the thing.
confirmed the same guy.
Okay, great. So gold paint briefcase is like halfway through the shoot, and then he's like, you know what? I thought that other model
Oh
in there was hot.
yeah, because he looks at the dag and he's like,
He looks
"You,
at the dag and he's like,
you've got something.
you've got something.
yeah
That magical virgin blood.
in your belly."
You've got something.
You've got some virgin
And so
meat in your
he's
belly.
like, he like sees her, and it's like she now has the
The
magic.
power, yeah.
And so he.
And she looks really beautiful in
fires-
that scene too. Like they
She
lit
does.
her. Like
she looks great. She's wearing a fucking badass leather jacket.
yeah. I mean, she was a total Grandma Uggo in the other scenes.
Oh, I know.
This one finally.
This one, she's finally hot.
yeah.
She's got something.
It's something.
They keep saying shit like that. That's why I keep repeating it. They
annoys
keep being
me.
like, she has
She has it.
it. You know what she?
So the dad gets to go on the shoot. She's like amped.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, Gigi is
It's,
gonna
like,
ruin it
freaking
for her because
out.
she's got like the tummy rumbles.
yeah, from eating a model.
And so the photographer's like, "Get your act together," and she like stumbles off the set.
Yeah, they're like both standing there, made up, and they're like
Yeah.
about to do some photos. And
Yeah.
Gigi like is like, I gotta vom.
Yeah.
So she doesn't even say that. She just runs off the set, clutching her tummy, and like
after a few-
runs into a spare room, not even the bathroom, really.
Yeah, it's just like it's like a dressing room.
Just
or
like a
something.
random room.
And starts making vomiting noises
For
over and
way too
over.
long.
Like
honestly, this
I
movie
felt
could have
sick.
ended like 10 minutes earlier.
Yeah.
Like it was one of those movies where there kept
needed
being
an
an
editor.
ending. You know what I mean? I kept looking at the clock ticking down and being like,
Yeah.
really?
Really?
There's 15 minutes left?
Yeah.
Like the scene where Ruby's lying on top of the grave and like
Yeah.
posing down the pool, even that stuff, I was like, I don't need this here.
It's so
You could have
extraneous.
ended it with her dying, and I
Yeah.
would have been like, got
This
it.
whole thing was a
You know what
project
I
in
mean?
indulgence. Yeah, it's just like you.
Like I get
stop.
it. Like the models killed her, they ate her.
Yeah.
Like ended on the shower scene. I'm good. I got it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that was where I would have ended it.
Yeah.
But it's not up to me.
But anyway.
Anyway, so she vomits for like what feels like 10,000
But it
years.
isn't vomit. She's just gagging. She's
like,
trying to gag up something, and that
it sounds disgusting.
It
it's
is not
so
pleasant
hard to watch.
Yeah.
And I was like, get to it. I know it's going to be gross. Just get to it.
So eventually the dad comes out but isn't really interested. It's kind of
she's
detached.
like, why are you fucking this up for me,
Yeah.
essentially? And it's like staring at her friend who's making vomiting noises and is like, what, you can't hold your virgin blood? You can't hold it?
Yeah.
Because like she's fine.
Right. And then Gigi vomits out a little bit of blood and an eyeball, a
She
blue
vomits
eyeball.
out one thing, which is just one eyeball.
Yeah.
A perfect spherical blue eyeball.
Yeah, that is not how
Gross.
chewing things works. And then she's
But
like,
this is magic.
and she's like, I gotta get her out of me. Grabs a pair of scissors
And just stabs
and
herself.
seppukus. Is it seppuku?
Yeah.
Just like opens up her stomach and then dies.
Yeah.
But
Instantly dies.
That death scene
that was another
highly
fact check from
unrealistic.
Mary Ellen.
I was like,
This is a segment on the show. Fact check.
Mary Ellen's.
Mary Ellen's fact check.
You okay? Like a very tiny little petite model, like, and a stomach wound. Unless she I think what we're supposed to get is that she like put the scissors in and then ripped upward.
Yeah, or like did something.
Right, but it doesn't really look like that, and B, like, I don't think you would die instantly.
She dies
anyway.
instantly.
She dies right away.
Like compared to every other scene in this movie that takes fucking forever.
This is like really.
it was
quick.
like literally half
and
a second.
I don't
she's
want to
dead.
see somebody's guts fall out
I
and like
didn't
suffer
either,
for
but
5
it would have
minutes.
been interesting to like hear her be like,
It was just
go on with that, like some
so
sort of
unrealistic.
message.
Like, if you're
Since
gonna-
this movie has no message, this would have been a good time for her parting
Anything.
words to be literally fucking
Right.
anything. If you're gonna have this scene,
Right.
Show
So
me
she-
something.
she-
but there's no more dialogue. Actually, there's
Yeah,
no more dialogue.
she
in
dies
this movie.
instantly, and then the dag. I did think the shot of her face with the shades on, she looks fucking cool as hell.
She does.
And she does this one little lip curl. Did you see that? I was like, I don't even know what that means, but it was cool. And
It's
then,
like she's just disgusted.
she's like, you pathetic little thing. She takes her shades off, and you see, I don't know if you saw, she's drooling, looking at the eyeball.
whoa.
I know. And then goes and delicately picks up the eyeball and swallows it whole.
Yep. And then she goes right back out and does the photo
also
shoot.
starts tears start coming down her eyes, like she's having a revelatory experience, and then she gets up and goes back out to the shoot, and that's the end of the movie.
Yep.
Yeah, we thought so too. It's weird. It's a weird ending.
That was really good.
That's the movie.
But like, what are we supposed to? I keep asking this.
Like, I'm gonna have an answer.
What is the takeaway?
I don't know. And so
are we supposed to see that as a victorious?
I think she won is what we're supposed to see.
And I guess Ruby also won.
I mean, really, didn't the Neon Demon win?
Keanu Reeves is the real winner.
He's the real Neon Demon. He was that character's gross beyond like parody. It's just like
It's tough.
How are you
so
real?
like honestly, like this movie
5 out of 5, I think.
I have like no conclusion here. And that was kind of how I felt after the movie too, where
Yeah.
I was like, is this movie condemning this sort of like dog eat dog modeling industry, like literally dog
It doesn't
eat
make
dog.
up its mind, and it's not like people might say like, oh, you know, you don't have to have every movie explained out for you. Like some movies, you just have to make up your mind. But it's like it's so messy and so
There's
unfocused
no way
that
to
there's no
know.
way you can't
make
draw
up
one
your
conclusion.
mind.
Yeah,
because there's actually multiple arguments happening here.
yeah, and
Like,
none of them are
there's
really
this idea
advanced.
that the entire modeling industry is predatory
Yeah.
sexually on young girls. Is that good? Is that bad? Are we supposed to think it's good? If we are, then why does Elle Fanning's character get killed?
Yeah.
By other women who are the real threat? Is that what we're saying? I hate that if that's the case. Like everything I can come up with for it is like misogynistic
Female desires
and
really
homophobic.
dangerous.
Women are dangerous
Women
to
are
one
dangerous.
another. Women are the
secretly,
real threats.
yeah, the most violent ones. I want to bring this up. There's a really, I wish I remember the author of this article, but there was a really interesting article in BuzzFeed Reader this past week that talked about the recent like movies like Gone Girl and then The Girl on the Train.
Yeah.
And these are both like women protagonists and largely women-centric movies where the women commit acts of violence.
Yeah.
And they examined it as like, why are so many women buying these books and getting really into these
It's
narratives?
almost like we all really just want to kill.
I mean, that wasn't the argument, but it was
Man.
like, it was like when living in the confines of like a patriarchal society or in the confines of like
Yeah.
expectations of femininity, there is like there's a day-to-day low level of violence to that.
Yeah.
And just so to see it like articulated and made so extreme that it becomes
like,
physical violence.
Gone Girl is like a revenge fantasy.
Yes. Yeah, kind of.
I think it is. I mean, I think it is. It's not that's what's horrifying about it is like, imagine the worst possible thing you could do to a shitty boyfriend.
Right.
What if you fucking did it?
Right. And I think in a weird way that's like, I kind of like this.
It's kind
of indulgent.
Cathartic, yeah.
Right. It's not like scores of women are going out killing their cheating partners.
I mean, this is like the same defense that men have had for however fucking long for every revenge fantasy or movie that is like, you know, fucking, I don't know, Drive or like any movie where
there's your
a male protagonist just goes and kills everyone that's ever harmed a woman in his life or that's ever harmed him or like all the Taken movies or Keanu Reeves and John Wick, like those movies are revenge fantasies, right? And so, but if a woman is doing anything,
so I think I think it's very interesting that you have this new crop of movies coming out, and B, I think it's really interesting that you have this both those were written by women. Yes. Now you have this male example trying, I think, to stab at sort of the same like thematic ideas. And
he acknowledges it by being like, Drive was a very masculine movie. Yeah. I'm gonna try to do this. And like, honestly, like we're shitting on him, but like props to him for at least trying something different and like working. I'm
highly unimpressed with his whole deal.
It's not a good movie, but like he did try to go outside of his comfort zone.
At least he tried to cast a lot of women and have a very he tried to have a women-centric plot, but it ended up being largely. Like, I think the interesting thing about that scene at the diner is we see Gigi being deferent to the modeling industry guy. Yeah. Because he's like, stand up, do this. And she's like laughing at his shitty jokes and stuff like that. And so
but instead of the movie punishing him or even punishing like Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, they're fine.
We end up with a movie that punishes this 16-year-old girl for like surviving in that world.
And so his claim is that this movie is almost exclusively about women and has no men in it, which is absurd because all these women, despite all their like infighting and stuff, there's a larger context of men exerting power on them.
And I think he doesn't realize he did that.
Yeah, like, which is creepy.
I know.
That's
it's
like
more just like sad that he's like not self-aware about the thing he made.
It's like
because there's so much like men looking at women. Yeah. And the women act as though their entire existence is defined by how men look at them. Yeah. Which, I mean... you know, patriarchy exists, but
and it's a consideration in sex work.
Sure. But like, there's no further layer on top of that where the women are kind of like, we're aware of this, right? And like that's the interesting part is when women directly confront that.
Whereas I feel like if you spoke to a woman. You might be able to get. I mean, but the thing is, but he had co-writers,
and I think that's part of why some of the movie did work for me. Though.
Right, where we see those scenes where like the women are acting, and it's really interesting. Yeah, in a kind of fucked up way.
Yeah, or like the ways that they get angry at one another. Yeah. I don't know. I bought it, but then so much of the movie still revolves around like what men think. Yeah, even though it's purportedly not about that.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you didn't get there. You didn't do it. You failed.
You fucking failed.
You disappointed me and your father, and you're not getting.
Is his father Drive in this scenario?
His father is Ryan
Mr.
Gosling.
Drive?
It's me and Ryan.
Ryan, quote unquote, Drive Gosling.
Ryan, I'll drive you anywhere, Gosling.
That's the motto of that movie, right? It's a rom-com.
I'll drive you anywhere.
I'll drive you anywhere.
Yeah, I mean,
what's that movie about? Never seen it. I actually haven't seen it.
It's driving mostly.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
I should check it out.
And then there's a song that goes, "You're a real human being, you're a real hero."
Is that true?
Yeah. And so there was like a meme where it's like, "You're a real human being, you're a real hero."
Cool.
But we want to. So I should probably set up the movie we're gonna watch next week.
Oh shit!
And compare to this, Black Swan.
Oh yeah, we are gonna talk about another psychological thriller that does female competition in a female industry that is all about looks.
Yes.
The world of dance.
And the use of the body.
The world of dance.
And like sexuality a little bit because there was a whole Black Swan, White Swan. I've already seen it, but years ago.
I've already seen it years ago too.
So I would love to revisit it with this in mind. And also I think it's important that we're also looking at a male writer-director. Yes. Because it's Darren
and like I don't
Aronofsky.
And I don't want to say that I think that men can't write women's stories. I don't think that's true.
No, I think try harder and you can.
I think fucking
just try.
Up.
Also, in a way, this was it is Darren Aronofsky, right? Am I getting that right?
I think you're right.
I don't want people to get mad at me and be like, no, it wasn't.
No, it's Darren Chris.
But whoever
Darren.
I know Black Swan, the inception of Black Swan came after The Wrestler. And The Wrestler was supposed to be his examination of masculinity and compared to Black Swan.
So this is like how to do that well?
Yeah, because I remember really liking Black Swan.
I really enjoyed it. And I mean, Black Swan is also another example of sort of depictions
Darren
of
Aronofsky.
mental illness.
Yes.
But I read a lot of like psychology articles after the fact that were like, this is actually like relatively realistic. It's still really campy though. And it's still like beyond the realm of like reality.
Right.
But we can talk about that aspect of it too.
Yeah.
This movie does not try to approach mental illness in
any
a respectful way.
No.
Its villains are quote unquote crazy
or
in
like
a way that makes no sense.
Right. Or like women's relationships with their bodies or women's relationship with fame.
Women be crazy.
That's true. Bitches be tripping.
Yep. That's honestly true.
I think bitches were the neon demon.
What the fuck is a neon demon?
I think, you want to know who's the neon demon? The mountain lion.
That could be not true. It's not neon at all.
Everything was neon in this movie. The way it was lit.
It did look really good. Neon. Are we done? Did we fucking do it?
Yeah, I think we did it, you guys. I think we did great.
Let's watch 2 movies.
Yeah, so to finish watching 2 movies, we're gonna watch the second movie, Black Swan. I would recommend watching it with us.
Go for it.
And you can see how wrong we are.
Yeah. Or how right we are.
I mean, I think I'm always right.
All right, cool.
But thank you for listening. I hope you found some value in our discussion over this.
Yeah,
I feel like we tried to
should
stay.
we like say our Twitter accounts?
Oh yeah. Oh
shit, we're like real people.
I'm really good at Twitter.
Okay, so I'm Maddie. I'm Middy Myers on Twitter, like MIDI Myers.
I'm Mary Ellen Murr, and that's like MURR because it's almost my full name. Some realtor in Pennsylvania has Mary Ellen Murray.
Well, she needs to be eaten.
She's tweeted like, oh yeah, she is the Jessie of my Twitter fame.
The neon demon.
She's tweeted like 15 times like 3 years ago, and I'm like, lady,
like,
all right. But right now I think
I don't even know who has Maddie Myers. I don't think she's ever tweeted.
Oh, but I think my my name that pops up is Caesar Spooky Bee. So that's me.
Just look for that. If you're listening to this podcast like years from now, good fucking luck.
Because it's a Halloween theme.
Are you just saying don't?
Twitter. Just don't listen to it ever.
You already listened to all of it. Why?
How'd you make it here?
I don't know.
Well, thanks
again. Do you think anybody will listen to this?
What?
Do you think anybody will listen?
No, I don't.
I hope not.
I think yeah.
Well, we had fun. All right, bye.
Well, let's watch 2 movies.
Let's
Until next time. Bye.
Have a sign off.
Till next time, we'll be watching 2 movies.
Every week, another 2 movies. Except not, because it's only one
week.
Movie.
Let's watch a movie.
Follow us at atomicblueproductions.com or support us at patreon.com/atomicblueproductions.